Hey guys, this is Lena, the owner of channel Pipe Cleaner Craftsby. On this channel I talk about the algorithm, and today I would like to talk about view velocity. Is there such thing as view velocity, and what should you do about it? You are looking at one of my videos, which initially didn't get any views, and that's why I hid the video for a few days, and I was considering not to ever show this video again. It was hidden for a few days. So what happened? On the first day, it received maybe 15,000 views, and I think the same on the second day. And you should understand that for a large channel, it's actually a very, very low amount of views. So what happened? Well, first of all, this video had a very low retention. But in addition, it had a very, very low click-through rate. 4.1 is very low for my channel. Again, the CTR depends on your niche, and it depends on your channel, it depends on your competitors. So maybe in another niche, 4.1 would be okay. In my niche, it's just very, very low. Then I decided not to give up on this video. I unhid it and I managed to improve the thumbnail. As a result, on the 6th of January, specifically on the 6th of January, when all the COPPA thingy happened, this video got into suggested by the algorithm, and surprisingly, I managed today to get more than 1 million views on this video. And we are talking about a video with a very bad retention. Regardless of what we call it, velocity or not, this is what I believe is happening on your channel on the first day of upload. Within the first 24 hours, we're getting these bonus impressions. So YouTube can gather as much data as possible to perform statistical analysis. And I will only look at CTR and retention, while I'm sure there are other signals, performance signals that YouTube takes into account. So YouTube is looking at the score, the CTR, retention. There's some kind of score which I believe a video is getting, and they add impressions, calculate the score again. If people are still clicking, right, if the retention, CTR is still okay, people are still clicking, YouTube may increase the number of impressions. But if people don't respond well, then the number of impressions will be reduced. My main channel is large, therefore even on the first day I get enough impressions and I can judge very quickly. Within an hour I can usually know whether or not my video is performing well. By just looking at the blue bars and the real-time view, I can usually say if my CTR is good. And that's happening because within the first 15 minutes I may see a large increase of views, and then they slowly go down. And if the views go down, it means that YouTube gave me the chance. They increased the number of impressions. The response was not so well, and they reduced the number of impressions. So what I can do, because it's not all depends on retention, by the way. Unfortunately, I don't know exactly what YouTube expects of me, but let's put it this way. In my channel, the thumbnail plays a critical role, I believe, and by improving the thumbnail, I can usually improve the views. So the first 24 hours, they don't have much meaning, at least on my channel, because as you could see, I can improve the thumbnail anytime. You improve the thumbnail, you improve your score, you may get a larger amount of impressions based on this recalculation. I don't know if we should call it velocity, it doesn't matter, I guess. If your channel is small, I believe it may take a bit longer to collect the minimal statistical information. But once YouTube has this minimal data set, they may start increasing your impressions. And actually, You can see it on this video. I believe this video was performing well because after, I believe it was 1.5 thousand views, you can see a sudden increase. And that, I believe, happened because this video had a good thumbnail at least, and possibly a good retention. So on small channels, you also need this a few thousands, so YouTube can say what's going on with the video. And that's why you may have to wait to see whether or not your thumbnail is performing. I've seen channels that had certain videos performing months after they were first uploaded. I've seen a video that was started with 3,000 views and for months and months didn't get any views whatsoever, and then it had like, I don't know, 200 million views. Why? Because there are also some kind of general, seasonal, or whatever algorithm updates which happen probably, I don't know, once in a while, maybe once a month. I'm just guessing. How do I know? Because I have videos that were performing for weeks and sometimes months, and then they suddenly stop. And what it tells me that there was some kind of general score update, and all of a sudden my video was not up to this standard. So maybe it stopped performing, maybe, I mean, performing. People stopped clicking on it, most possibly. Maybe it has reached the critical mass of viewers. I don't know that. But this videos usually may perform again, may start performing again. I've seen it many times. What I usually do and what I suggest you do on your channel, if you think that you have a good video, if you have a video with a good retention, and which seems to appeal to a large audience, I think I will try to improve a thumbnail or a title. Now you are looking here at the same video. In overview, the retention is slightly longer than in the reach tab filtered by last 7 days. I may look at a video which was published like a year ago, and if the retention, the recent retention, like last 7 days, if the video still have a good retention but is not getting views, I may actually try to improve the thumbnail, because clearly a year ago my thumbnails were not as great. I mean, they're still not perfect, but a year ago they were sometimes much worse. Also, don't forget that your competition is growing with you. So your thumbnails improve, but also their thumbnails improve. And that's why thumbnail that used to work a year ago may no longer work today. And that's why sometimes it makes sense to try to improve the thumbnails. There is no guarantee, by the way, but you can try. To sum it up, the algorithm calculates the score, sort of. This is my subjective interpretation, but the algorithm is calculating the score of your video. If the score is still within some kind of required range, which we'll never know what it is, then YouTube will add impressions. Otherwise, it may reduce impressions. In order to cut corners, guys, I think you have to try to understand what is your minimal requirement towards your CTR and retention. For example, you may discover that 2 minutes are enough and you don't need to create 30-minute long videos so you get retention of 5 minutes. Maybe a 5-minute long video with a 2-minute retention will be enough for you to get views, because we don't know what's happening on other channels. And I know how hard it is to create longer videos. I mean, I see that videos where you talk, they can be actually very long, but I'm pretty sure people speed them up. So try to figure out what's the minimum, okay? So you don't have to work too hard. The same in terms of the thumbnail. And I said in my previous video, I think, you have to look at your browsing CTR and suggested CTR. I think the rest is kind of less important. Maybe search CTR is important, but I'll talk about separately. So you have to know what's the required CTR, and I can tell you that on my channel there is a certain percentage. If I go below that percentage, I'm not getting views. But if I go above this percentage in browse features, for example, then most certainly I'm gonna get views on this video. And you need to know your channel as well. So guys, thank you very much for listening to me. I hope you will subscribe and come back for the next video, and please write me your questions. I will be glad to answer them. Bye.